Hey everyone, as promised, here's the follow-up to the Q&A video where I'll be answering questions from the previous one. And also, as mentioned before, I have a special guest with me today that's going to help read off the questions.
Greetings, Mega Man fans, and any non-Mega Man fans that happen to be here, because I imagine there's a few. My name is Mick. I am a hiatus Let's Player, and Shinryu has asked me to come here and help him read off his questions for him. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Mick is, super heavily involved with pretty much nearly every fan game that has ever existed, at least the Mega Man-related ones.
Perhaps too involved.
Yeah, what was that saying again? If you're not involved with it, it probably doesn't exist.
Yeah, that was the joke, basically. But it is a running thing. If I'm not involved in it, it doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, though, like he said, he is on hiatus at the moment.
Yep, college, yo.
But still, yeah, go check out his stuff and the various fan games he's been a part of, though chances are pretty high that you've already played something that Mick has had a hand in.
Oh, definitely.
So, without further ado, I guess on to the questions. There's no particular order for how I put these in, save for a few that I grouped together, as kind of like follow-up questions, since I figured they either covered a similar topic or they just made more sense for me to answer them side by side. Some of the questions were submitted through Discord, but most of them are just from the previous video.
Alrighty then. Format explained. Let's go. So, the first question I have in here, what are your... Oh gosh, this is a big one. What are your favorite Robot Masters from each classic Mega Man game?
Mega Man 1 through 3, I don't know if I have, absolute favorites, but if I, had to pick right now for them, for 1, I guess Fireman. For 2, Metal Man, if mainly for his design, not his weapon.
Or his boss fight.
Yup. And 3, I guess, Snake Man, because he's probably the most unique out of those. At least the most unique that I can remember. 3 and 5 are kind of a blur in my minds for some reason, and I don't know why. For Mega Man 4, Dustman, although Pharaoh Man and Skull Man are, 2 side favorites of mine as well. 5... A lot of the Robot Masters aren't very distinct in 5. I don't want to go off on a tangent on 5 or anything like that, but, 5 has to have, the most boring Robot Masters in the whole series. I'm sorry to anyone who likes Mega Man 5. This is just my opinion.
Oh no, opinions on the internet!
Oh no. But if I had to pick one right now, I guess Charge Man, because... like with Snake Man, he's probably the most distinct out of that group, next to Napalm Man. For 6, Nightman. Yamato Man and Tomahawk Man are close seconds, though.
Tomahawk Man?
Yeah, Tomahawk Man. Did I mispronounce it?
I always pronounce it as Tomahawk Man, but that's me.
You say Tomahawk, I say...
Never mind.
That'll be one of my great quotes. I'll put that on the video as the thumbnail.
Perfect.
Mega Man 7 has always kind of been a tie between Turbo Man and Shade Man. For me, same thing with Mega Man 8, Astro Man and Grenade Man have always been kind of tied. 9... I like all the designs from 9, really. Galaxy Man is one of my favorites. Splash Woman also has a really neat design. Yeah, same thing kind of goes for 10 now that I think about it, except maybe Chill Man. Solar Man and Sheep Man are kind of high up there, though, for my favorites. I know a lot of people don't like Sheep Man, but I love him.
Sheep Man's so quirky.
And, if it counts, Mega Man and Bass, Magic Man.
What about the Star Droids?
Star Droids. My usual answer to that is Pluto, even though, people compare him to Slash Man from 7. I don't know, I just prefer his design over Slash Man's.
Fair enough. If I'm recalling right, he at least has more interesting abilities. Alright, as a follow-up to that, what are your least favorite? I think for this one, we'll just go with a kind of more overall least favorites. Let's not try to do every game again.
Yeah. Even then, I don't think I have a least favorite overall, except maybe for Dynamo Man, and that's mainly just for his boss fight.
Gosh, that fight.
I like his design, not so much his boss fight.
The fact that Dynamo Man never got a Net Navi counterpart just feels like a ripoff. Maybe the Net Navi could have redeemed him. Maybe. I know there was a fan game at one point that tried to have, like, an EXE conversion of him. Yeah, but that didn't pan out.
Nope.
On the subject of favorite robot masters, do you have a favorite from specific fan games you've played?
That's...
Just out of personal curiosity.
That's kinda tough. Now I'm tempted to say Fuse Man from Rock Force, but that's kind of the reverse of Metal Man, because that's mainly for his weapon.
Sure, why not?
I like Crypt Man's design, for just going with Rock Force again. Trying to, like, I've played so many fan games, I have to, like, try and think back to each one, but for now, I guess I'm just gonna say Crypt Man.
Fair enough. We'll just go with that one then. Save us some time. So, the next question on here. What is your opinion on the platformless Mega Man games? Like Battle Network or Starforce?
I like Battle Network. I think my first game in that series was 3. I want to say it was a white version. After that, I tried to get, like, as many of the other games as I could. Never really could get a physical copy of Battle Network 1.
Understandable. That one's old.
Yeah. As for Starforce, I've never actually played it. I've seen videos of it, but I don't think I can really give my opinion on it because I haven't actually played it myself.
Sounds reasonable to me. Okay. On the subject of Battle Network, what is your favorite and least favorite conversions of Robot Master to Net Navi counterpart in the Battle Network games?
I think I've mentioned this before, but my favorite overall, in terms of the Navis, is probably Starman.
I approve.
After that, just off the top of my head, some of the ones I think that had some interesting designs were Plant Man, Junk Man, Wind Man. I remember having a pretty neat design. I'm sure there's others, but those are the main ones I can think of right now.
Fair enough, it's quite a list. And any least favorites?
Again, I think this is mostly for his battle, but I don't really like Brightman's Navi version. Like, that battle is particularly annoying, and I'd much rather prefer Brightman as a light bulb than whatever the hell he was in Battle Network Transmission.
Neon.
Yeah.
Neon everywhere. Like, isn't his... Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't his boss fight just, like, him basically being worse than most every shield boss in the classic series?
Yeah, he sits still with a constant shield on him, and when you hit him, he shoots out a homing projectile at you.
That sounds...
And it's very annoying to try and get hits on him.
That does sound irritating.
Yeah. And as for any other ones, I like Turbo Man's, like, normal Robot Master version. I don't really like his Net Navi version. Something about his design just strikes me as off.
Fair enough. On a similar subject, are there any Robot Masters that you would have liked to see get a Navi conversion that didn't?
I'm trying to think of the ones that don't have any, like most of the 9 and 10 ones.
Well, none of the 9 and 10 ones got conversions, unless you count fan games.
Yeah, since the Battle Network series ended before those could come out. So any of those, really. Any of the favorite ones that I mentioned that don't already have one.
Can't blame you there. Okay then. So, would you like to make a fan game someday? Or have you actually already made one, excluding Mega Maker?
Here's the thing, I have actually tried to make one before. It was in RPG Maker, I can't remember which one it was, and I'm glad I never finished it, because it was probably more meme-induced than the recent Granddad reboot.
Oh my, that says something.
I would have tried to make it good, but the problem is I was trying to cram in, like, way too many features at the time, and I kinda lost interest pretty quickly on it.
Too many ideas, not enough polish?
Yeah. Beyond that, I have, like, way too many other ideas for, like, actual Mega Man fan games. I mean, I'd like to get, sharpen up my skills to the point where I can actually make maybe one or two of those a reality, but they're probably not going to happen right now.
Well, I mean, you're kind of busy. For one, that won't happen right now because you're recording this.
Yup. I also made that one MaGMML2 level. Don't know if that counts.
Well, it's at least a level. It shows that you can.
It's a part of a fan game. Good enough.
And more importantly, it shows you can make one.
That's true. I mean, at least in terms of design. I am not a programmer by any means.
That's what you get a team for. So, how reluctant were you to record your actual voice for this?
Not too reluctant, really. Although I did still have a bit of nervousness. Like, I mentioned before that I get nervous with solo runs, or just solo recording. But I've been trying to conquer that recently.
Ah, fair enough. Well, if it means anything, I think you have a wonderful LPer voice, personally.
Oh, why thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, what's your favorite software house?
I guess TechSmith? For those that don't know, TechSmith are the guys who make, Camtasia Studio, which is what I use to record and render my videos. So, I guess by default, TechSmith is my answer to that.
Seems legit. Okay. Oh boy, this next question's a toughie. Favorite Mega Man fan game or ROM hack? / which ones did you enjoy the most?
I think I've gone on record in saying my favorite fan game is Day in the Limelight 2.
Ah, fair choice. If I recall it right, the Gamma fight from that was something else.
Yeah, Gamma Fight is pretty fun, with the possible exception of Flashman's phase of it. As for ROM hacks, 3 main ones I can recall playing that I actually really liked were Rockman 4 MI, Rockman 6 Skype, and Rockman 5 Install Metal. Skype was never finished, but it's still, like, mostly playable, especially in comparison to something like Rockman 6 Innocent.
Oh boy.
Which only had, I think, like 4 stages done or something like that.
Okay, from there, what is the best fan-made game in your opinion?
Even though Limelight 2 is my favorite, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best.
Well, best made.
Best made would probably be Rock Force.
Fair decision. And following up from that, what is the worst fan game you have played?
Should I regulate this to just things that have been played on my channel?
Well, it doesn't specify that, so your call.
If we're not specifying, then Call Edit is probably the worst.
Gosh, I've seen that one. Isn't that one the one with, like, the unreasonably long stages that really don't do anything?
Yeah, every stage in Call Edit is roughly anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes long.
My gosh. No, you don't...
And there's virtually no unique gimmicks in any of the stages.
Oh my gosh.
It's somehow a more boring version of Project Zero.
Oh gosh.
Speaking of which, I don't know if I can include Project Zero as, like, things I played on my channel, because I technically played that for Heavy Size.
That's Still, wow. Okay, so, do you plan on LPing MaGMML2?
Yes, eventually, once it gets released.
Okay, will it be a 100% run?
Probably.
Do you have a plan on how to deal with some of the longer stages that will require more backtracking?
No, not at this point. I should probably make one. Because here's the thing about that, like, both me and Mick can attest to this. That game is massive.
Oh, definitely. The only game that I know of, like, fangame I know of so far, that has the potential to eclipse it in sheer content would be another MaGMML. And technically Mega Maker, if only because user-generated content, yo.
Yeah.
That one's never ending.
Like, to put this into perspective, I think the longest LP that's on my channel is Live a Live. That had, like, roughly 30 parts, I think, to it. MaGMML2 has the potential to go way beyond that, depending on what happens.
I mean, if I am recalling right, that thing has almost 100 levels in it?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So, I'm expecting that playthrough to be anywhere between, like, 40 to 50 parts.
I can't blame you. Speaking of MaGMML2, what will you be doing for the playthrough of your level?
By that point, it's basically just gonna turn into developer commentary.
Best way to do it, really.
More or less.
Speaking of your level, do you have any idea how you won MaGMML2?
Nope. I've mentioned this before, but I had virtually, like, no confidence in my level, like, while I was working on it and while I was submitting it. Like, personally, I was rooting for, Now's level, which is Quarantine Woman, to win. I would have liked seeing, Strife's level win, too.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, I kinda knew fairly early on that, I knew Identity Crisis had landed at least one perfect score, so I was pretty confident.
I had no confidence by comparison. Like, at best, I thought I was gonna get, like, tier, like, 8-ish.
Well, I mean, personally speaking, as a former judge, and depending on how things play out, future judge, of the MaGMML2 levels, Identity Crisis easily would have gotten my highest score. Its design only has a few small issues in it, which, you know, no level is perfectly designed. That design itself is subjective enough that I would consider that impossible. And then beyond that, the level has top-notch aesthetic design, and of course, just the concept. Even though Mega Man Powered Up did something similar to this, the concept itself still puts a creative spin on both the ability to play as robot masters and just forced weapon usage in general.
I was basically disappointed that Day in the Limelight 3 wasn't happening.
I mean...
That's the story behind the level.
I mean, hey, whatever. Now, we'll just have to see how many MaGMML3 levels try to do the same thing. Spoiler alert, if you try to repeat the same stunt as Identity Crisis pulled in MaGMML2, I don't think you're going to be winning the third one, just saying.
I will immediately give it, like, a score of 50, or whatever the top score is. Must have biasness.
So, what happened to Mega Man Rocks? Did you completely give up on that one?
Oh, gosh. Partially. Because, again, here's the thing with Mega Man Rocks. That game is extremely crash-happy.
Oh dear, is it as crash-happy as Origins?
Not as crash-happy as Origins. I mean, Origins, you can just breathe on it and the game will die.
Yeah.
Like, with Rocks, the main thing with Rocks, like, the most effective weapon in that game, which is the snowblower, has a game-crashing bug attached to it.
Oh, dear.
So, you have to carefully coordinate how you use that weapon, which isn't fun. Otherwise, all your progress dies.
Huh. I'm gonna have to experiment with that weapon a little more. I've played rocks a few times and never run into that.
That and the clipping issues have killed me in Repo Man stage like way more times than I care to count.
Ugh. That does not sound like fun. Repo Man stage. So, what's your history with Mega Man?
Well, I don't know if I brought up the full story before, but I think I've, at least brought up part of it before. So, the first game in the series I ever owned/played was Mega Man 4. Never really got the chance to play any of the other games in the series until I got the Anniversary Collection for PS2. Speaking of which, apparently I was lucky to get the PS2 version because the GameCube version apparently had issues with it.
Something about swapped controls.
Yeah, from what I heard, the A and B buttons were switched, so B jumps and A fires, or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's not confusing at all.
Aside from, that, the only other time I played a Mega Man game before that was, I think I briefly played Mega Man 3 over at a friend's house, but I never got very far in it.
Fair enough. So, well, we've kind of already answered what the first Mega Man game you ever played is.
Yep.
And, what got you into the fangame community?
The first fangame community I think I was ever really a part of was, the one for Mega Man Battle Network EXE, which is still going on today.
Stubborn bunch, that one.
That's also the community I met you in, I think.
That would be correct, actually. Mega Man Battle Network EXE was, really my start in the fangame community as well. Right down to the fact that, at least as far as I'm concerned, it is the first major fangame project I have been a part of. There's, I think there was one other fangame that I was with beforehand, but I prefer not to talk about that one.
I won't pry for information.
Fair enough, your video, not mine.
Yeah, I guess from there I slowly moved into the Classic Series fan games. The first one I ever really tried was, the old version of Revolution.
I feel sorry for you.
It wasn't that bad at the time, I guess.
True. True. Fair for its day, just not up to today's standards, really.
Yeah.
That happens with a lot of games, really. Okay. Oh, I didn't know about that. Recently, I heard about your involvement in the TASBot run of Mega Man 1 in SGDQ 2015. Do you have any interesting stories to share about that experience? I didn't know you were involved with SGDQ.
That's because I'm not. I need to set the record straight on this. There's a guy in the speedrun community by the name of Shinryu who also happens to be involved with Mega Man games, and we are not the same people. I swear.
Oh dear.
Occasionally I get mixed up for him.
As evidence.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence.
I
am not that guy. I think I've only, been majorly, confused for him once before. Thankfully that discussion, ended before it could get even more awkward.
Imagine that was awkward to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. So, favorite non-Mega Man fan game?
I kinda like Lacard Chronicles 2, which is a Castlevania fan game. Aside from that, Granddad, if it counts.
It is. It may be a fan-made product based on a bootleg, but
yeah, it's fan-made bootlegs.
It's still. I would still call it a fan game.
I'll ask Smeds directly. Do you see Granddad as a fan game?
Well, we'll find out in the comments.
Hopefully.
Maybe.